So welcome back. In my first video I went for a ride on the bike, got it started. She took me as far as the stop street, and when I got to the stop, I pulled in the clutch and it died on me while I was still in gear. So I've now realized that my clutch wasn't working. What I now need to do is I need to fault find this to see what's wrong with the clutch. Is it just something as simple as bleeding the clutch, or do I actually have to replace the clutch slave cylinder? So we're going to do that today. I'm going to first show you how to bleed the clutch, if that's working, see if there's any bubbles that come out, air bubbles that could be cause for why it's not activating. And secondly, then probably even service the clutch slave cylinder or replace it. Those are then your three options depending on how severe the issue is. But firstly, how does a Honda's clutch work? Let's take a look at that. Okay, so how Honda works is Honda makes use of an hydraulic clutch. Now you'll notice that on a Honda you've got your hydraulic brakes and your hydraulic clutch. Other bikes have a cable clutch, which is then just a normal, you pull the lever and it pulls the cable. So the hydraulic clutch works with a master slave cylinder. As you pull the lever in, the master slave sends hydraulic fluid down the line. At the bottom here, you've got your slave cylinder. So the hydraulic fluid comes in, it gets to the slave, and it pushes the slave cylinder pushes the push rod, which then opens your clutch back on the opposite end. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to bleed it through the bleed nipple over here. So an easy way to bleed your clutch is to take a clear hose, put that over the nipple. Okay, so I've fitted the clear line on, and I'll open the nipple. So now what's going to happen here is any air bubbles that's trapped in the slave will come out here and it will go into the fluid. You won't get any air going back down because I've got fluid in my line. If I pull on the lever here on top, it then pushes on the fluid at the bottom, and we see movement over there. I've now got too much fluid in my line. I'm using an existing line, so I've always got a brake line with some fluid in it. So that now tells me there's no bubbles in the system. If I turn on my ignition, my bike's in neutral, the back wheel spins. If I try to knock it into gear, oopsie, clutch in, I'm struggling to get it into gear. There, I got it into second. Back wheel does not spin, clutch is in, back wheel still not spinning. So when riding, obviously the bike will be moving and sliding into gear is a lot easier, but when you pull in your clutch, obviously the bike's supposed to move. So this is what it should look like once your clutch is in, but it's only doing that when in neutral. So yeah, so that's the first problem. We clearly have an issue where the clutch is, the slave is not engaging at all. If I take this off now, we'll then have to inspect the insides of the slave to see why it's not engaging correctly. So as you can see here, I was busy pushing the clutch and this piston is just seized up. It's not coming out. By now this thing should have been level with the face. So there's clearly an issue going wrong inside here. We're going to take this out and split it, separate it. To remove it, I'll have to put this back in again and undo this bolt. And strange enough, there is some clutch fluid coming out of here. Normally, it should have leaked out the banjo bolt as we loosened the bolt initially. Right, so I'm going to take this now quickly and pop some compressed air into here and see if we can get this thing to come out. So as you saw there, I quickly popped down to the petrol station, put some compressed air into my slave cylinder, and it nicely popped out the inner cylinder, the piston. So now that piston was stuck in here. It wasn't going anywhere, and that's kind of the reason why I didn't have a clutch. This is your inner piston. Behind that is a little spring. That little spring sits on the back, and all of this sits inside here, and the spring's supposed to then move it in and out, and you've got your two seals. So now obviously when it's perished, or when you're going to service it, you're going to be replacing the spring, you're going to be replacing the seal 1, seal 2, and then there's also a little seal that sits on the back here that pushes onto your push rod, and then sometimes you also get this little rubber to cover the nipple, the bleeding nipple. This thing is completely worn. I'm going to pop down to Mo. He already phoned me, I already spoke to him, and he's given me a quote of $750 for another one. I think it's a decent price. Comes off a working bike. It's definitely a working slave cylinder, and if it's not working, Mo allows you to just swap it out. So this one's going to go in the trash. Well, we can actually service it at a later stage. A little bit of corrosion on the ends here. I don't know if you can see that. Some corrosion, it needs a rubber, these seals need to be replaced. I'm not willing to wait the 2 months or however long it takes to get a new part, so I'm just going to go and buy another one. I'll be back again later this afternoon. Yeah.
Wait! Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And we're back. Yeah, that took about 2 seconds, not even 2 seconds for you. It's about 2 hours later. Anyways, got this one from Mo. He's out in Parden Eiland. If anybody's interested, his shop's name is Wicked Cycles. Excellent guy. Catch him on WhatsApp, message him, ask him, do you have this part? He gives you the part, he gives you the price, and he'll tell you it's available, yes or no. He has a spares warehouse, so sometimes you can't really get the parts from him at the shop. You have to give him some heads up so that he can go back, go get it out, so by the time you get there it's available. Yeah, he's one of the few guys in Cape Town. There's a couple, but I like Mo. He works well. So yeah, this is the new one. You'll see initially there's already a difference in terms of the inner face. There's no corrosion. That rubber's in place. There's no rubber here. Lots of corrosion here. The actual seal itself, you can't really tell a difference on the outside. So yeah, this one looks much better. So let's get this one fitted. So that's exactly the same way we move. We put our washer in the bolt. Nothing screws. And now we use it. So once you know, you can get it. So I've now removed the fluid from the previous one, just so that you can get a better view of what's taking place here. So the first thing we do is I'm gonna turn this in the opposite direction. So we're going to turn the steering wheel in the opposite direction. What you want is, I want the master cylinder to be completely level. The reason for that is, if your steering wheel sits in this position, your handlebars, steering wheel, the master cylinder will sit in the upright position. If you turn it to the right, your master is in a more level position. So that stops the air from being trapped at this bolt. This thing, we need to make sure that always full of fluid. Never let it run empty, because if that does run empty, that's when you end up with the airlock at the master cylinder. So now let's start the bleeding process. Alright, so we are using just normal brake and clutch fluid. I'm topping up the reservoir on top, opening up the piston at the bottom, the slave, and you already see the air bubbles coming through. Can you see that? On the lever side, I can feel how it's getting harder. Make sure that it doesn't run empty. So you'll see here the fluid is sitting now till about there somewhere. It's just behind this pipe. There you go. And as you pump, the fluid travels up, which means all the air has now escaped. You'll see also the pot is almost empty, so we have to obviously keep topping up. I've topped up the reservoir again, and all the air seems to have escaped. There we are. There's the pipe. Fluid is now sitting here. Because I'm working now with two hands and the camera is obviously becoming a bit excessive. That's now locked. There's no more leaking at the top. And I can feel it getting stiff on the opposite end. Right, my clutch is now bled. Feels like it's working. Now let's do the test. As you can see, bike is in neutral. I'm pulling in the clutch and engaging first. That's going in a lot smoother than before. I will then release the clutch, turn the wheel. Nothing's happening. Engage the clutch, turn the wheel. Eek! Nothing's happening. Neutral. First. Looks like I still have a problem. I'll have to bleed it a bit more. We'll see what's happening. Okay, so my guess is somewhere in the process I wasn't paying attention. Too busy trying to make a YouTube video. I might have let the fluid in the reservoir drop too low, causing a little air bubble in the front master slave cylinder. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to crack this bolt and pull on the lever, see if anything comes out. Make sure to protect anything from any clutch fluid spraying around. So I'm going to crack this bolt to see if any air bubbles come out, and then I'll have to possibly bleed it at the bottom again. So what I did there was I loosened it, I let all the air come out. As soon as I saw fluid come out, I slowly tightened it and pulled the lever, tighten, pull the lever, tighten. It's a single motion, so as you pull the lever you tighten it. So because the lever is pushing air out and fluid out, and you're tightening it onto the fluid. If you release the lever and then tighten, you're sucking air back in again, which you're trying to prevent. So I can actually feel a difference now. The lever is actually a little bit stronger. But my clutch still is not releasing. So let's try and bleed again at the bottom.
One eternity later.
Right guys, so it turns out that when making a YouTube video, you kind of forget logic. I forgot that normally, obviously, when your bike's in gear and you put in the clutch, there is still some play on the gearbox, given the type of clutch that motorcycles use. Your plates are still kind of rubbing against each other. Normally what would happen is you would be in gear, but when you put in the clutch, you are pushing the entire bike, not just doing this. And I was doing this, thinking I didn't bleed the bike correctly, the clutch correctly. So obviously that's not how this works. Bike is currently in neutral. Right. Put it into gear. Bike is in gear. So now I'm going to pull in the clutch with a cable tie, and then instead of pushing the bike, I'll just use both hands, pull the back wheel, and that should then work. Because obviously doing this, you see the wheel still moves, but there is some drag on it. Alright, so the cable ties are on, and my clutch slayer cylinder works. So that's that. It's as simple as that. Sorry for the confusion and sorry for my little mistakes, but it's what happens when you're bleeding something, especially when you have to bleed it at two different points. Then air is likely to get trapped. To be honest, I bleeded on top. Oh, you saw me bleed at the bottom, bleed on top, and then I bleeded again at the bottom, and I did find that there was still a little bit of air trapped on top. And I got the system nicely bled, and when I put the bike on the ground and I moved it, I realized, oh wait, it's actually moving. So that's why the bike's now in this position. So yes, it was a lot simpler than I thought. I almost ended up opening up on the gearbox side to see if there's something wrong with this little clutch. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And yeah, follow me on my next video where I'll be tackling the forks that are leaking quite a bit. So thanks guys, and sorry that I took so long to get this video out, but the next one will follow shortly. Bye bye.
I just wanted some more, I'll have a twist. Think I didn't take risks to get to this sitch, don't take the piss. Obvious coming, I admit I did what I did, but I deserve this. That's why the ball got popped at 6. And a hollow out foot by the evening. I used to think I'm just dreaming. I just wanted some more, I'll have a twist.